Everyone look at her face. Why did you take your children here?
We have some problems in this country. Joining me now to discuss problems just like that, Kara Frederick. She is the Director of Tech Policy at the Wonderful Heritage Foundation, and Corey DeAngelis, who's done many, many things. He has a wonderful book out there called The Parent Revolution. Okay, Kara, let's begin here. I'm trying to understand how twisted one has to get to scream in the face of a young child, especially as a young lady. Young women, maybe I'm just old and stereotypical. I consider young women to be nicer and more empathetic, more motherly. How screwed up do you have to be to do that?
Well, first and foremost, it looks like you have to be on the Kamala Harris side to do that, because we as women, frankly, we have been derelict in our duty to, like you said, to reach out to the more nurturing parts of our nature, to understand biological realities, to frankly be pro-child in our culture today. Unfortunately, I'm a young mom, and I am seeing the exact opposite among my cohort and those that are younger. It's this anti-child idea, right? Like, you're in your late 30s and you get to travel and you get to buy a Chanel purse and you get to be on your own buying Prosecco whenever you want. You know what? That is bankrupt. I tell you, I was a girl boss on the way. I like some people have said, I cut the last chopper out of Nam in this regard, in terms of meeting a great guy, having a family, and understanding that there's so much more to life. There's so much more to life. It is so sanctifying if you're pro-child, pro-family. But unfortunately, our culture and one party in particular is giving us the exact opposite message. And frankly, it's a lot of females' fault. We should be embracing this idea of family and children. That's all there is to it.
Corey, how much does the education system play into young ladies like that? I mean, Kara correctly points out our culture. How much does the education system bear the blame of young women like that turning into, let's be honest, that's a vicious animal. That's a vicious animal that used to be a human being. What happened to her?
Yeah, she must have attended public schools. Maybe she went all 13 years for the K-12 education, where they're teaching you to hate each other, to hate children, and they're not focused on the basics. They're not teaching kids how to read, write, and do math properly. So these culture wars are inflamed by people like Randi, Weingarten, and the teachers' unions, who want to indoctrinate kids with their leftist ideology. The only way that we take American culture back is to strike at the root, to allow families to have school choice, to take their kids' education dollars to a school that's actually teaching the basics, that's doing a good job, that's teaching their families' values, and not trying to divide our country like we see in this viral clip.
Speaking of Randi Weingarten, affectionately known as Communist John Denver on this show, she, for some reason, not sure what happened there, has been doing a lot of public speaking recently. I don't know who told her she was good at it, but here she is.
We're going to make sure that there's housing benefits, that people can have home ownership, that we can attack the price gougers, that we can have unions, that we can have a public school system, that we ban assault weapons, not ban books, that we lift up history, we don't erase it. That's who Alyssa Slotkin is. That's who Kamala Harris is. They want to solve problems. They want to lift things up.
Sorry, I had to adjust my earpiece. That was a lot to go in there at once. Kara, could you explain what you think Randi Weingarten sees in herself before she gets up to speak publicly? If I couldn't speak, I just wouldn't speak, but she shouts and speaks a lot.
Jesse, I would say that Randi needs to stay in her lane, but she has been just absolutely destructive when it comes to her specific lane. So I think Randi just needs to retire altogether. You look at where why was she in Ukraine? Why is she talking about all of these other, having houses and economic policy and whatnot? She has failed at her one job, which is, as Corey knows well, supposed to be helping advance the education of America. America's youth, and she's done so poorly at that she just needs to get off the stage completely. Somebody's got to give her the hook because she can't even do her one job well.
Corey, why did she go to Ukraine? I almost forgot about that until Kara just brought it up. Why did the head of the Teachers Union go to Ukraine?
Who knows? I guess she wanted another paid vacation, or she was trying to get away from the country when the nation's report card scores came out showing decades of learning loss that were partially caused by her union-induced school closures when they held children's education hostage during the COVID era for ransom payments from taxpayers. But look, I don't think she should quit her job. I think she should continue, go and talk more and more. Look at what happened in 2021 when she went and stumped for Terry McAuliffe in Virginia. Glenn Youngkin, the Republican, won on the issue of education freedom. And now she's going out stumping for Kamala Harris and looking like an idiot every step of the way. She should continue doing that because she's inadvertently done more to advance school choice and homeschooling than anyone could have ever imagined. Every time she opens her mouth, it should be counted as an in-kind contribution to the school choice movement and to Donald Trump because she really hates him. And she's just doing a horrible job at running the education system. She tried to say that they made Detroit schools powerful when only 4% of kids are proficient in math, the worst school system in the country. She's taking responsibility for that failure. It is her fault, but it's because they care more about politics than education.
Kara, your particular area of expertise, you and I have talked about it many times, is big tech. And obviously we've all lamented how biased and twisted and frankly evil big tech has been over the years. We're not talking about that a lot now. What aren't we seeing? I have a very hard time believing they've moderated things over there at Google these days. What aren't we seeing?
Yeah, they haven't. What we're not seeing is a lot. Because there is an extensive CYA campaign. You might have seen Mark Zuckerberg came out and said, oh, you know, we did wrong when we suppressed COVID-19 misinformation, right? We did wrong when we suppressed the Hunter Biden laptop story. Because I think these guys are hedging their bets. Yet, as I tell everyone, don't take that victory lap for free speech just because somebody like Mark Zuckerberg says mea culpa to a degree, because we know that in the background, they are continuing to censor apace. We've seen it again and again, not just with Meta actually downranking that photo of Trump raising his fist defiantly in the air during his his first assassination attempt, but we've seen it with Google. We've seen it with their search results. You know, when people tried to search for Trump assassination, they weren't getting what happened. They weren't getting proper search results. Google was not surfacing real information. You might have seen Amazon's Alexa. They came out and said that there was no reason to vote for President Trump, that they couldn't talk about it, but the reasons were legion to vote for Kamala Harris. So big tech, make no mistake, they're continuing to do what they've always done in election cycles and suppress information that is not going to help the left. Right now, they're just being a little bit more savvy in the public eye about it because they know there was such a backlash given what they did in the 2020 election cycle. I'm telling everyone, they are smart. Don't fall for it, guys. All of the censorship is happening in the background.
No doubt. Kara, Corey, thank you both. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Right.
Thanks, Jesse.
I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.